The next series of tabs within the settlement is the carriers, drivers, trucks, and trailers. So these pull up the different individuals and companies that are involved and any of the equipment involved within the pay period here that's done any work for you. So the carriers one's probably the most important. These other ones are kind of more FYI information. You can see that this just shows all of the different drivers, the carrier they work for, the region they were working in, the total number of loads, their first and last ticket, as well as the settlement total. So this is kind of just, the ability to quickly just come in and check and see, this driver looks like they started on the last day. So you may want to make sure that they are, not paying a full insurance amount or things like that. So you can kind of come in here and kind of sanity check things. Same with the trucks and trailers. You can see, any of the information that may apply to why different withholdings are being held, whether it's company plates, leases, activity, activation, deactivation dates, etc., how many days they were active during the pay period, first, last ticket, things like that. So you can kind of scroll through here on the trucks and trailers. Trailers looks exactly the same as trucks. You just kind of have a bunch of that information of activation, deactivation, if it's a lease, things like that. But the most important one in here is definitely the carriers. So the carriers has a list of every single of these subcontractors, which maybe you just have the one. You're just running your entire company with instead of owner-operators, you have a bunch of hired employees. But if you have different ways you got to pay out here, you can do that. But in here you can see we got the carriers. We have the previous balance, if there is any, the total ticket payout. So this is the amount of payout they get for the loads they ran. Their withholdings, any of the, so this is recurring withholdings, the sum of those, any of the one-off withholdings, so we put one in here for spades, any of the fuel receipts that we've linked up with them previously, and they additionally do, so you can see they all kind of sum up here, and you get the total settlement payout. So you can come in here and see the sum in there. Over here on the manage, you can see view, mark carries reviewed is not reviewed, so if I've come through as part of the process and I look at this and this all looks good, I can come in here, mark the carriers reviewed, and then they have a little green checkbox, which means that they are good to go for this settlement. So kind of as a process, it makes sense to go through here and make sure that everything looks good and it's just marked as reviewed. If you want to remove it, you can go ahead and do that as well, which will remove that approval there. So also within the system here, we can manage some of their settings that we've covered in other videos, the ability to override how things are paid out. So any of the settings in there, as well as the ability to override any recurring withholdings. So if I wanted to change that in here, we could do that, and then I'd need to refresh the recurring withholdings. So we'll go ahead on spades. We're going to override the recurring withholdings, and we're only going to charge them, $200 a month for the insurance. After doing that, you'll notice that it isn't automatically updated in here. We can deal with this a couple of different ways. One, we could go in and click View, and we can refresh the carrier settlement. So this just refreshes it for the one carrier. So the recurring should drop, from $275 down to $125, since we've overridden that. The other way to deal with it would be to go into the summary section, and down at the bottom you can refresh the entire settlement, or in that case just the recurring withholdings. But you can see in here that we've got that down here. They have a different dollar amount than everybody else since we kind of have the insurance for them. A couple other things to note within the carriers. We have the ability to show carriers that don't have any tickets. These ones will be faded out. So you can see we've got 4 carriers that do not have any loads, but they still have recurring withholdings, either flat or based off of equipment or things like that. So you can see here they kind of flagged yellow that you might want to review that because you either don't want to pay or withhold against them because they don't have any information in there. In addition to doing that, you can show additional details if you want to see quite a bit more information here. The dollars invoiced, the number of tickets, tickets with errors, first, last ticket, all the breakdown of different withholdings, reimbursements, fuel cards, etc. So you can have access to a lot of information here if you want it, but you don't necessarily need to. Oops, I went back a page. Let's go back into the settlement. The other thing in the carrier table is you can also download it to manipulate in Excel. So you can download the carrier table, or you can download the withholdings. This will just download a Excel spreadsheet, whatever you show. So if you show with or without, you can expand it and then download the whole table. Or if you just kind of want this truncated table, you can download that. And the withholdings will just download all of the different withholdings, so you have a list of things to look over there. But that's pretty much it for the carriers tab. We're going to go over this view in the next segment so you can see the details for each of the different carriers in here.